Good morning, all of you. Welcome back to the online sessions on analog electronic circuits. And in today's session, I just wanted to give you an introduction towards this analog electronic circuits. It is nothing but an extension subject to the electronic devices. We have already studied a subject called ED, known as electronic devices. So this subject is simply an extension to the ED subject called as electronic devices subject. Okay. So in this analog electronic circuits, we mainly concentrate or focus on the various types of the amplifiers. Okay. So here we have different in the previous subject called electronic devices. What all that we have studied? We have studied about the basics of the semiconductor physics. We have studied about the p junction diode, and we have studied about the transistor, some part of transistor biasing. Okay, and we have studied about the basic amplifier model, which is known as a hybrid model and a pi model of a BJT transistor. And we have studied about FET, field effect transistor, and we have studied about the FET small signal model also. And in the previous subject called electronic devices, we have studied up to representation of the hybrid model or H parameter model. We don't have much part of the analysis in the previous subject. We have to simply represent the model of the amplifier either in CE, CB or CC configurations. Now in this subject we have analysis on that particular hybrid model. Okay, so now here straight away we have a subject starting from the small signal analysis amplifiers. Okay, so even though he says that there is no prerequisite in the given syllabus, but I prefer that you need to have a prerequisite subject as a electronic devices. So if you know the basics of the electronic devices, then you will be more comfortable in understanding about the amplifiers, right? So basically, you know what is an amplifier. Amplifier is an electronic circuit which is normally used to increase the strength of the input signal, is basically known as a amplifier circuit for us. So here in the first unit we discuss about small signal amplifiers. Second unit we discuss about the feedback amplifiers. Third unit we discuss about the oscillators and regulators. Fourth unit we discuss about large signal amplifiers, and last unit is going to have RF, called as radio frequency voltage amplifiers. Now the basis for all these amplifiers is definitely going to be the unit number 1, which is known as the small signal amplifiers. And the basis to understand small signal amplifiers is the amplifiers topic in the case of the electronic devices and circuits. Okay, so I can just simply say about the basic syllabus what we have on this as well. Now in the ED subject you have discussed about the various concepts such as basics of semiconductors. Now in the earlier subject called ED we discussed about basics of semiconductors, the junction, p-n junction diode and its characteristics, xenon diode and its characteristics, applications of p-n junction diode as a full wave rectifier. Okay, and there are two applications of a p-n junction diode known as a switch and a rectifier, and we discussed the application of p-n junction diode as a rectifier circuit, and we discussed about the bipolar junction transistor, okay, called as BJT, and we discussed about the various configurations of bipolar junction transistor in CB, CE, and CC configurations, and we discussed about the various types of the transistors known as the NPN and PNP transistors. Already we discussed about all this, and we discussed about the biasing circuits. Biasing circuits are a biasing circuit design, and various biasing techniques. Then next we discussed about the stabilization of the transistor circuit to operate in various modes, and next we discussed about the small signal transistor equivalent circuits like as small signal low frequency H parameter model of BJT, approximate model, analysis of BJT amplifiers using approximate model for CB, CE and CC configurations, and some part of high frequency pi model also we discussed in the ED subject. So after that last unit we discussed about the junction field effect transistors, where we discussed about the VA characteristics of JFET, analysis of JFET in CS, CC, and CG amplifiers. That means we discussed about amplifiers using the JFET transistors also, and we discussed about various types of the MOSFETs. So this is what we discussed in the last subject. So in the last subjects, whatever we discussed here, we start from here. That means already we know the small signal transistors equivalent circuits, and you have drawn the small signal low frequency H parameter model of BJT, approximate model analysis of BJT amplifiers using approximate model of for CBC and CC configurations, and high frequency pi models we discussed. And we start from this particular unit. That means unit 4 of ED subject is the basis for our analog electronic circuit subject now. Now in AEC we have small signal amplifiers. Now in this small signal amplifiers we discuss about classification of amplifiers. We have just defined about an amplifier in the previous subject, and we discussed about the model of an amplifier using the approximate H parameter model or hybrid model. And from now onwards we have an application of the amplifier. That means various classifications of amplifiers. The amplifiers are classified based on the type of feedback connection, type of the application that you're going to use, a large signal amplifier, small signal amplifier. Okay, so based on the frequency range that you're going to use, all these are various classifications of the amplifiers which we are going to discuss in detail. And next is analysis of the amplifiers in the mid band, low band, and high band frequencies, and multi-stage amplifiers, which has been considered by using a VJT and FET amplifiers, and analysis of transformer coupled amplifiers in a mid frequencies, and then later on low frequency and high frequency regions with the BJT amplifier analysis we discuss. And next is feedback amplifiers, feedback connections, oscillators, regulators, large signal amplifiers. Okay, that means large signal amplifiers means what? The amplitude swing of the output of the amplifier is going to be really maximum in the case of the large signal amplifiers in comparison to the small signal amplifier circuits. So this is what the basic portion which we have. And lastly we are going to have the radio frequency amplifiers, which we normally prefer in the receiver circuits or transmitter circuits of the radio communications. Okay, that is what called the simply radio frequency voltage amplifiers. So basically we use these RF amplifiers in the radio transmitters and radio receivers. Large signal amplifiers we normally use them in the speaker circuits. Oscillators are normally used to generate the oscillations without any external input signal. Feedback amplifiers are normally used to change the characteristics of the amplifiers. Okay, and the basis for all these 4 units is going to be unit number 1. That means if you really know the unit number 1, if you really practice unit number 1, you can easily get rid of all the remaining 4 units. So the key lies in understanding all the rest of the units like unit number 3, 4, 5 units in AEC is purely depends on the understanding of the unit number 1. So here in the case of the analog electronic circuit subject, it totally deals with the analysis part of the amplifiers. So analysis means what? You have to use the electronic circuit analysis techniques, so known as H parameter model. So if you know the H parameter model, if you know the various formulas, then you can easily really go through the small signal amplifiers analysis model. So the key here is that you should compulsorily practice. In order to score in this subject, you have to compulsorily practice, not even to score, just to pass the exam also. You have to practice all this mathematical analysis, because if you don't practice, you really cannot really do in the exam, because in the exam straight away the examiner is going to give you the analysis part of the amplifiers. So only 40% is giving theoretical part, and rest 60% is really focusing on the analysis part of the amplifiers in the examination. So therefore it is the primary part of us to really practice all these analysis. If you really practice the analysis of the amplifiers, then only you can able to do well in the examination. So from day one onwards, you please try to practice the analysis part of the amplifiers. Okay, as it is the first session, I just wanted to go with the simple basics of the amplifiers now. Now we start with the various modes of transistor. That means all this whatever now I am explaining you before a transistor H parameter model that we're going to discuss now. So all these are the basics which we require to understand the operation of a transistor. So always a transistor is going to, a transistor is a device which is normally used to transfer the signal from low resistance region to the high resistance region. So therefore, we always establish the input junction as a low resistance region and output junction as the high resistance region as far as BJT is concerned to transfer the signal from low resistance region to high resistance region. So that is what basically a transistor is all about. So a transistor works as an amplifier in three modes basically. They are called as cutoff region, cutoff mode, active mode and saturation mode. So if at all you wanted to use transistor as an amplifier, okay, so the transistor is always going to operate in the active region. Okay, a transistor is in any configuration such as CBC can be made to operate in any one of the above three modes. Now here there are two applications of a transistor. One is going to be as a switch, another one is going to be as an amplifier. If at all you want to operate transistor as a switch, you're going to operate either in the cutoff region or in the saturation region. So in saturation region, it works like a closed switch like this. In the cutoff region, it works like a open switch like this. Thereby, we can say that if it is in cutoff region, there is no current flowing from input to the output because it works like open switch. In the case of the saturation region, if at all you're going to operate, it works like a closed switch where the input current is normally flowing through the output circuit. Okay, so this is what the basic application of a transistor as a switch. The next transistor is an amplifier, right? So whenever a transistor acts as an amplifier, so for a transistor to work as an amplifier, it must be made to operate in an active region. So in the active mode only it has to operate. Okay, so in active mode the DC line passes through the Q point. So what is the most important is called as a Q point. So the Q point is known as the operating point, which should be always adjusted at the center of the active region. The Q point should always be operated at the center of the active region for it to operate as an amplifier circuit. So in order to use it as an amplifier, it has to always operate at the center of the active region. So IC SAT, and it is going to be simply VCE SAT, and this VCC by 2 and IC SAT by 2 is nothing but center of this y-axis is IC SAT by 2, center of the x-axis is going to be VCC by 2. And what is this graph which we really going to think about? This is known as the output characteristics graph and output characteristics of CG configuration. Now what type of biasing is involved here? It is known as a voltage divider bias circuit. So this is already biasing already we discussed. So here in this particular subject, we are not going to deal into biasing because already biasing has been done. You should know what is biasing. So straight away I am going from biasing circuit. So this is known as a biasing circuit. So what happens with the biasing circuit? See here, there is no AC signal applied here. Only DC voltage source is applied. With this DC voltage source, what is happening? The input junction becomes forward biased, output junction becomes reverse biased. That means due to biasing, due to proper biasing, what are the things which is going to happen? Due to proper biasing, the input junction becomes forward biased, output junction becomes reverse biased, and the Q point is always going to be adjusted at the center of the active region due to biasing circuit. And due to stabilization resistor, what happens? This Q point always remains at the center of the active region irrespective of the changes in the temperature. Okay, so therefore this RE is known as the stabilization resistor, R1 R2 known as the biasing resistors. C is known as the bypass capacitor. When you apply the AC signal, this AC signal should pass it through the capacitor known as a bypass capacitor. Thereby, we are normally not going to have any AC voltage drop across this RE resistor. Thereby, this AC signal will be going to the ground. Once again, from ground, it will be coming to the input of the transistor amplifier like this. So therefore, this is known as simply a DC biasing circuit. Now, why we have to perform biasing? Normally, we perform biasing to make the circuit ready to accept the external input signal by providing proper biasing to the circuit. That is why we apply the VCC signal at the input. So, why we apply VCC? We apply VCC to provide proper biasing. Now, what is biasing? Biasing is nothing but making the input junction reverse biased and output junction making the input junction forward biased and output junction reverse biased, such that the Q point is always going to be adjusted at the center of the active region, is known as basically the biasing for us. So due to, if biasing is really proper for an amplifier, then Q point will be adjusted at the center of the active region, such that the current which is the DC current which is flowing through the amplifier is going to be IC side by 2, and the voltage existing across emitter collector to emitter. Where is the collector? This is CE. Between collector to emitter voltage is normally equal to VCC by 2. So like that, we normally going to adjust the biasing. Therefore, these 2 points are known as the quiescent point voltages and current. That means this is nothing but VCEQ is nothing but equal to VCC by 2. ICQ is nothing but equal to IC side by 2, known as the quiescent voltage and quiescent current. So this is what the basic conditions which we require for proper biasing. So if VCC is applied, proper bias design is really as per the specifications, then definitely we normally going to get a appropriate Q point. So once we get a Q point, then Q point will adjust the central active region. Then when you perform the transistor characteristics, so we normally going to get all these graphs. When you make the input current as constant, we'll be getting graphs like this. Okay, so now here is the Q point. Now this Q point is always going to lie at the center of the load line, the center of the DC load line. Now this load line is known as a DC load line. The Q point is always at the center of the DC load line. So this is what normally going to get achieved by proper biasing. Now in this output characteristics, we can explain about the various regions of operation. See here below this IB is equal to 0 microamperes. All these regions is known as the cutoff region. And when the output current is going to be very high, okay, for appropriate base currents, okay, so which is this region, that means a linear region, that means what maximum current which is going to flow, this region is known as the saturation region, and the region in between the cutoff and saturation region is known as the active region for us. Okay, so we always operate the transistor in the active region for it to act as an amplifier circuit. So active region lies in between the cutoff region and the saturation region. For a transistor to work as an amplifier, the Q point should lie at the center of the active region. Okay, and there was a basic question or a Viva question: why Q point should lie at the center of the active region? So in order to get the fruitful amplification, the Q point always should lie in the center of the active region. So this is how the thing which we are going to have. That means if we extend this saturation line, it will be extending like this. Cutoff region means what? Somewhere here below cutoff region. That means here somewhere above this you won't have the cutoff region. So if Q point is not at the center, say Q point is nearer to point C, then what happens? This amplified signal will be going beyond the saturation region. Thereby we normally going to get a clipped output current swing, output voltage swing. So therefore we won't get a fruitful amplification. So therefore in order to get fruitful amplification, the Q point should be adjusted at the center of the active region always. So this is what the concept which we have, and here we have drawn the voltage swings of the current and the voltage of an amplifier circuit. Now practical circuit, how it looks like. Let us take the practical input and output waveforms of a CE amplifier is shown below. So this is the CE amplifier circuit. Now in this amplifier circuit, what we do now? So if you don't use this in the earlier circuit, if you see biasing circuit, sorry, we have seen the biasing circuit. See this biasing circuit now? This is known as a DC biasing circuit. In this DC biasing circuit, see there is no input, there is no output taken. That means using this biasing circuit, what we understand now, we understand where is the Q point, where is the operating point using this particular DC biasing circuit. So after proper biasing, what we do now, we use this circuit as an amplifier circuit. So after proper biasing, we apply the input signal via the coupling capacitor CB, and we take the output via the coupling capacitor CC. So the CB and CC are known as the coupling capacitors. C is known as the bypass capacitor for us. Okay. Now, what is the purpose of R1, R2? R1, R2 are known as the biasing resistors to provide input junction as forward bias. To provide forward bias to the input junction, we apply R1, R2. Then what is the purpose of RE? RE is known as the thermal stabilization resistor. This R is normally used to keep the Q point at the center of the active region irrespective of the temperature changes in the circuit because of the input signal. Then what is the purpose of CE? CE is known as the bypass capacitor. And CB and CC are known as the coupling capacitors, which are normally used to couple only the AC signal to the circuit. See here, this is the signal we are going to apply. Now there is some positive portion, there is some negative portion of the input signal, very small amplitude signal we normally applied. Now how you know about positive portion, how you know about negative portion? It is with respect to the average DC line at 0. This is known as average DC line at 0. This is known as DC line. So already DC currents are flowing through the amplifier circuit to provide proper DC biasing. So already since DC currents are flowing, we don't want any DC signal from the input to flow through the input of the amplifier. Therefore, we apply the coupling capacitor CB. This coupling capacitor simply going to block the DC signal. Capacitor is normally going to block the DC signal. Therefore, this capacitor is going to block the DC and supplies only pure AC signal into the transistor amplifier circuit. Now already this transistor amplifier is working with proper biasing conditions. Q point is already clamped at center of the active region. Okay. Now the circuit is normally going to operate at the Q on the Q point now. So thereby it is normally going to achieve the proper amplification in and above the Q point, over and above the Q point region. So that means what here, because of this connection, what happens now? Above the input signal is going to make the excursions with respect to the Q point. Now this Q point is going to act like a DC line here. This is nothing but average DC line. On this average DC line, we normally going to get the oscillations. The signal is making excursions with respect to the average DC line. So this is how we normally going to get the amplitude amplified signal at the output of the amplifier circuit. Now, if you take up the CE amplifier is normally going to amplify the input signal, and the phase of the output is always going to be 180 degrees with respect to the input signal. So, CE amplifier is normally going to be called as inverted circuit. It's going to invert the phase of the input signal. So this is how we normally going to get the output signal. Now if you see carefully here, these capital letters, capital I1, capital I2, capital IB, capital IC, capital IE, all these are what now? DC currents representation. If you want to represent only AC, we represent by using the small case letter. Small IE is there, see here. This small IE is known as the AC current, AC emitter current. Okay. So here without the application of the AC signal, we got the DC currents flowing through the circuit. By the application of AC signal, AC current is also going to get added to the circuit now. So therefore, the current which is flowing at this terminal emitter is going to be I, small I, capital E. Stands for what? It contains the DC as well as AC emitter current. So therefore, I can write this as equal to small, altogether small IE plus capital I. So that means which contains AC part and DC part of the emitter current. Now what happens here is the AC part of the current is normally flowing through the bypass capacitor. Under the operating frequencies, this capacitor is going to act like a short circuit for the AC, and this capacitor is going to act like a open circuit for the DC. So what happens here now? DC current is normally going to flow through the bypass thermal stabilization resistor, and AC current is normally going to flow through the CE amplifier. That means here the AC current is flowing from CE bypass capacitor like this into the ground. From the ground, once again the current is normally going to come and flow through the transistor amplifier like this. Okay, so one part is going like this into the amplifier base, another part coming to the ground and coming to the ground, and it is simply this part is AC current is normally flowing from the ground. From the ground it is coming once again to the VCC from the ground, and once again coming to the collector, adding over here into the collector circuit. So like this, the emitter current is a combination of IB and IC, and the current is flowing like this. And we are picking the output voltage across the load resistance. So here also we are going to put a coupling capacitor CC. This coupling capacitor is once again in the output current. We have a DC current also. We have a DC current called IC. See, capital IC is there, small IC is there. So I don't want the DC current to flow through the load resistance. Therefore, I am going to put a coupling capacitor which is going to block the DC signal, allows only the AC signal. So you see the output here. If the output is starting at 0 degrees, here, sorry, input is starting at 0 degrees, output is also going to start at 0 degrees. Now the input is going towards positive here, output is coming towards negative here. And when the input is going negative, output is going positive. It is nothing but what is known as the inverted phase of the amplifier. So the amplifier is normally going to provide 180 degrees phase shift. So this is what the basic operation of the amplifier, and the amplitude of the signal is simply increased by the amplifier circuit by virtue of the operation of the transistor as an amplifier in this circuit. Now the gain of the amplifier, what is the gain of the amplifier? The output voltage peak to peak, if it is taken as 50 volts, input voltage peak to peak is zero point 0.5 volts. Then what is the gain? Is equal to 100. Output by input is known as gain for us. So the amplifier is simply increasing the input voltage by 100 times. So thereby we get an amplified version of the output signal. So this is what the basic of the amplifier circuit to deal with. Okay. So with this, we stop our session here. So here we have started our session with the basic working of a amplifier circuit. And the next session, we try to analyze the amplifier with a H parameter model. Okay. We try to cover how to represent a hybrid model of a amplifier circuit. Thank you very much for the today's